Alright, I'm happy to say that the brackets for this SARD style wing that I've been mounting on my Miata are finally in, and they absolutely look fantastic. I'm getting them mounted to the wing right now, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Also in this video, I'll show you exactly how this wing mounts onto the trunk, and future plans that I have for this as well. So my attempts for sourcing this so far haven't been too successful. I am looking at a couple other vendors for these, but I'm kind of considering just redeveloping the entire wing myself. Honestly, this project so far has been really fun. Like, it's been quite time consuming, but it seems like there's quite a few people interested in running this wing. So we'll see how development with this goes, and if I can, just source the rest of the parts for the mount on this wing. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Let's get started with this thing. I'm going to finish getting this mounted, and let's go take a look, shall we? Alright, so this is the finished bracket with the wing stands all mounted up. This sucker is hefty. Used a very thick steel on this. It's not going anywhere. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the trunk and get this mounted. Alright, so this is the clamps of how it mounts to the sides of the trunk, right? The one thing that the original SARD wings has that, from what I can tell, all the Chinese companies have gotten wrong. Like, they just didn't include this extra piece that basically screws in. It has these two screws that screws into the plate. As you can see, it kind of warps over time of mounting it back and forth, taking it on and off. And the more you tighten it, the more it might warp. But that's perfectly fine. This piece basically allows you to mount it in and not drill holes into your trunk, misshaping it. Without this piece, if you drill these 3 screws into your trunk, you're going to mess up your trunk. And that's not the purpose of this wing. Like, you shouldn't be messing up your trunk. And the first time I actually did this, I did it without this. And I did kind of mess up my trunk, which is fine. It's whatever. I'm prototyping things. So, let's go ahead. I'll open my trunk now and start to get this thing in place. I most likely will have to loosen up a few pieces just to get it over my trunk lip, but I'll try it without the start. Yeah, if I go in like this, it will be trouble. Yeah, so I've taken off the one side, just to give you a better view of this. This is the plate that seems to be missing from all these Chinese manufacturers. And that is what basically clamps onto the top. So also, the one thing missing from these kits is just simple rubber boots that you'll basically put onto the back of these. This one is a little bit older because I did buy this wing used. So this rubber piece just goes on top like so. Like I said, this is a little bit damaged. And then that rubber piece. So I'm going to go ahead and get this slipped on. Looks like this does need to come back out just a bit. So these 3 screws on the bottom is basically what pushes that bottom bar into your trunk. So I've got this on here, and basically these 3 screws, you put a hex key into the bottom and you tighten them. I'm not sure if this is the final thing that I would personally want to do, but it seems to work pretty well. And then these 2 screws are tapped into that top bar there. I know this back one I have a bit stripped out, and that is unfortunate. So that's one problem I've had so far. But yeah, basically, this is on now, and it's not going anywhere. So let's go ahead and do the other side. Alright, with that first clamp in place, we're going to go ahead and put the other side on. And I'm just going to go ahead and slip this over, like so. And with that holding, I'm going to put the 2 screws on the first side. So I feel like in your initial install and just figuring this out, you'll probably take this on and off quite a few times, and that's perfectly fine. So we'll take a little bit of maneuvering, and to be honest, it's probably like my 5th time doing this. Just for all the prototyping I've done, and it's been a solid couple months worth of work. But like I said, it has been fun. Alright, so I've got that side in place. I'm going to tighten it up just a bit. Yeah, not bad at all. So with that in place, I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and loosen these hex bolts I already had on this side, just to allow it to better position itself from where it's currently sitting in positioning these brackets, right? And I think I'll be able to show you what I mean. So if I push this up, it needs to be about right here, and there's just a little bit too much gap there. So if I loosen these up, I'll be able to twist the whole bracket into place. And yeah. Okay. So just a bit. Alright. Yeah. That's exactly where that needs to be. Oh, I dig it. Alright. So that loosened up. I'll go put on my smaller hex key here. Hex bits. And I'm just making sure it is going to be lined up with the other side as well. So, go ahead and do these in by hand a bit. And let's just make sure it's focusing. Yeah, not too bad. This is definitely one issue I've had in a lot of my videos, is it not focusing correctly. And, you know, that's no help at all. See, this one is a little bit stripped out as well. Cool. Okay, so with that in place, I'll go ahead and tighten the ones mounted to the wing. I tell you what, this is definitely working a lot better than my initial prototypes. Having this finished copy here, it has these extra maneuver points there. It's all in place. I'll go ahead and tighten these last 3 screws, allowing this to functionally clamp to my trunk. Yeah. I see this getting nice and tight now. That's what she said. Alright, so the wing is mounted in place. The last bit that I have to do is basically untightening these rear 2 bolts, where I have allowed different adjustments to the height of the wing and the angle of the wing, which is always nice. Basically, I've added this nice little slot here, and I've noticed on the Chinese ones, they have a very long slot for adjustment, which is just completely unnecessary. Like, you aren't going to need it to be flipped all the way up, and I could see people doing that if it were a thing. But I've made this much adjustment. This is all the way down, and this is all the way up. I don't think you'll need any more than this. I like mine just personally right dead set in the middle. I'll go ahead and tighten up both sides of these screws here. And get that squared away. Yeah. And get the other side. And that's it. Alright, so the SARD style wing is on. This has been a really fun project. When I first bought this wing, I actually thought this was just another Chinese replica, but seeing the quality that had came in from my last video, and I'll also link that down below, makes me think otherwise, because this has all the parts, like the rubber mounting little cushions as well as that bottom bar that clamps to the trunk lid makes me think that maybe this was a legit one. But those things, those are needed to make this work. Like, you don't want to drill this into your trunk. This isn't what this wing style is meant to do. For the time being, I do have these brackets all made and available on my website. I will drop a link below for that as well. If you have any other things you'd like to see like this, man, let me know. I'm all for doing different things with this car. This was a really fun project. I absolutely love the way this wing looks on the car. It just has this perfect contour curve that matches the bumper of the car. Like I've said before, like, probably aren't getting too much downforce for this. If you're looking for extreme downforce, if you're looking to go do a bunch of track racing, I do highly recommend a company called 9 Labs Racing. They make massive wings that provide tons and tons of downforce. Yeah. But, yeah, that should close out this video. Let me know if y'all have any questions about this, and I'll try and keep you updated with anything I'm doing with this wing as well. So, until next time.